Hi everybody, this is Kathlyn Hinesley with Exploring Dimensions for All. Today I'm going to be reading Chapter 13 from my book Welcome to Infinity, Exploring Ancient and Modern Techniques for Collaborating with Otherworldly Beings. And the title of this chapter is Vibration, the Cosmic Telephone. There is sound, vibration, and brain research in this chapter that you might find interesting. Okay. If shifts in consciousness are the key to transcending the boundaries of time and space, it makes sense to ask what methods might be helpful in facilitating such shifts, and how such methods might work. Native peoples, as previously noted, have utilized chanting, singing, dancing, drumming, and other means to facilitate altered states of awareness. I have argued that such techniques work by altering the vibration of consciousness, which for living people appears to be seated in the brain. If drum rhythms are capable of affecting changes in brainwaves and can thus help to facilitate states of consciousness associated with visionary experience, perhaps other rhythmic exercises such as chanting, singing, and dancing can be utilized in this way as well. The above explanation is fine as far as it goes, but you may ask, how can brainwaves make it possible to connect with aliens and spirits with vibratory rates that fall outside of the range normally perceived by beings existing in the physical realm? Modern consciousness research has led to some very interesting theories, which suggest that our brains may possess tiny structures that have the ability to pick up information from outside the physical realm. John Climo, in his book Channeling, notes that medical researcher Frank Barr believes that glycocalyx, small antenna-like structures in the human brain, may interact with the compound melanin and, quote, act as antenna to receive electromagnetic radiation of various wavelengths, parentheses, including light, close parentheses, transducing them to mechanical vibration, parentheses, called phonons, comma, essentially sound, close parentheses. The vibrations then move through structures called microtubules within the cell to the melanin, which can transduce sound to light and back into sound, close quote, footnote 1. Footnote 1 is Climo Channeling, page 262. Climo explains that melanin functions as a, quote, phototransducer, end quote, which means that it, quote, interacts with light, end quote, and, quote, can transmute energy across the photon to electromagnetic to mechanical states, close quote. And that's footnote 2, IBID. Climo suggests that, quote, photons and other vibrational states within the brain, comma, 3 ellipsis dots, may interact with or be part of a larger field of such outside energy and the information it could involve. Such a capability may account for the potential of an extraordinary range of frequencies and energy states to interact with one another. Close quote, footnote 3. IBID, pages 262 to 263. Climo also puts forward the idea that specific brainwaves may help to facilitate contact with outside frequencies. But how can sound and rhythm alter brainwaves? This can occur because of a process called entrainment, a word used to describe the energetic effect that one vibratory rate can have upon another. Entrainment describes the tendency for one object to change its rate of vibration to match the vibratory rate of another object. When drum rhythms of a particular frequency are played, for example, the brain waves of listeners will typically entrain to match the frequency heard. For the purpose of this discussion, an object refers to anything that possesses a vibratory rate, regardless of its physical or energetic state. Sound and other energetic forces, such as brain waves, will thus also be considered objects. Climo explains that a number of researchers now believe that, quote, electromagnetic oscillations outside of human systems can resonantly entrain parts of our brains to their frequencies or to lower harmonics of them, close quote, Footnote 4. IBID, page 264. He points out that alpha brainwaves in the 8 to 12 Hertz range have been linked to, quote, meditative states, such as are found in much channeling activity. Close quote, footnote 5. IBID. Am I suggesting that it may be possible for us to access otherworldly beings and realms by utilizing sound to entrain our brainwaves to various frequencies, thereby facilitating contact with beings existing at other vibratory rates? Yes, that's part of what I'm suggesting. But wasn't there something a while back about a pyramid that might have worked as a machine to transport people to other dimensions? And didn't I mention something about physical objects simultaneously retaining configurations of subatomic particles from the past, present, and future? To begin to make sense of the concepts presented above, it might be useful to remind ourselves that everything we can perceive in the known universe, including our bodies, is composed of vibrating light. More specifically, the matter we perceive around us is composed of substance and movement, concepts that are, in effect, inseparable from one another. In his book, To Kiss Earth Goodbye, Ingo Swann points to modern advances in physics that have changed the way we view matter and energy. He points to physicist Niels Bohr's proposal that light is wave and particle, and cites Albert Einstein's discovery of energy and matter's shared equation. So that's Albert Einstein's discovery of energy and matter's shared equation. Footnote 6. Ingo Swann, To Kiss Earth Goodbye, New York, Hawthorne Books Publishers, Inc., 1975, pages 47 and 48. Swann explains that physics advances such as these suggest that, quote, seemingly non-material, end quote, forces could affect material events. And that's footnote 7, IBID, page 48. If matter and energy are interchangeable, it can be said that matter is, in a sense, equivalent to wave or vibration. If this is so, it seems likely that the shape of matter could be affected by changes in the movement or vibration of other matter. Practically speaking, this would mean that my vibratory rate could affect yours, and yours could affect mine. Similarly, the vibratory rates of objects, animals, plants, mountains, planets, and stars could affect people as well as each other. Does this mean that everything and everyone can have an effect on everything and everyone else? Yes. In a later chapter, I'll present evidence which suggests that ancient people knew about the vibratory effects of certain types of matter, energy, and movement, or rhythm, and utilized these to maintain harmony and balance on the planet and in the universe at large. But for now, I'll confine myself to explaining how and why such effects may work. Entrainment, as noted above, is a word that describes a process by which the vibratory rate of one object may affect the vibratory rate of another. But since everything and everyone is composed of vibrating light, we're all affecting one another and everything around us all the time, right? Right. If sound can affect brainwaves, doesn't it follow that brainwaves might be capable of affecting vibratory changes in other types of matter? In To Kiss Earth Goodbye, Swann relates a personal experience with a phenomenon known as psychokinesis, an ability to affect the form or placement of material objects by means of thought. He describes an experiment he participated in at the Stanford Research Institute, in parentheses capital SRI, in which he was apparently able to alter the magnetic field in a magnetometer that was encased in concrete simply by directing his consciousness to it. Footnote 8. IBID, page 59. More common examples of psychokinesis include the ability of some psychics to bend spoons by means of thought, or send objects flying across the room without touching them. Psychokinesis evidence of a non-material force affecting a material event, makes sense if we consider that both material and non-material objects share vibration as a common characteristic. If all objects, whether material or non-material, are composed of waves vibrating at particular frequencies, they should be able to affect changes in one another through the process of entrainment. If human beings can have an effect on material objects, can material objects have an effect on us? Yes. In future chapters, we'll look at how ancient and native peoples may have utilized their knowledge of the energetic forces of natural materials to create sacred sites, temples, and idols to facilitate specific effects. But first, let's take another look at the properties of matter. In Chapter 11, I noted that matter is light and appears, quote, as form and substance because of its density and lower frequency of vibration, end quote, footnote 9. Reprinted from Future Memory by P.M.H. Atwater, copyright 1999, by P.M.H. Atwater, used by permission of Hampton Roads Publishing Company, Inc., from page 122. But the plot thickens. The newly emerging science of cymatics, quote, the study of shapes created by music and sound, 3 ellipsis dots, end quote, footnote 10, suggests that the shape of matter, which owes its configuration to vibration, can be affected by sound. And that was footnote 10, Tom Kenyon, quote, Theoretical Constructs of ABR Technology, end quote, www.tomkenyon.com, parentheses 21 October 2001, close parentheses. Dr. Hans Jenny helped to pioneer the science of cymatics by studying the effects of vibration on sand, iron filings, liquid, and other materials placed on a metal plate. He noted that sand, iron filings, and other resonant materials developed into specific shapes when exposed to particular sound vibrations. The same sound frequencies repeatedly produced identical patterns, suggesting that sound can have an effect on matter. Jenny observed that specific shapes could be created by human vocal tones. He noted that the pronunciation of Hebrew and Sanskrit vowels would cause vibrating sand to form the symbols used by ancient peoples to represent them. Footnote 11. Footnote 11 is Peter Peterson, trans. Yarrow Cleves, quote, cymatics - the science of the future from alpha omega alphaomega.se/english/cymatics.html, parentheses 15 October 2001, close parentheses. In, quote, cymatics - the science of the future, close quote, Peter Peterson suggests that sacred languages may actually have the potential to affect physical reality. He puts forward the possibility that certain ancient texts, when spoken or sung, might be capable of healing the sick. Footnote 12, Ibid. Specific words and sounds are, of course, commonly used by shamans when treating patients. Could it be that our ancestors understood the sound or vibratory differences between health and illness, and utilized this understanding to create beneficial sound combinations? The work of Dr. Susumu Ono suggests that naturally occurring patterns in living things may possess a kind of musical order. After studying genetic sequences, Dr. Ono assigned, quote, musical notes to each of the 6 amino acids that make up the DNA code. Dr. Ono has been able to transcribe the single quote music, end single quote, made by the DNA helixes in living things. These sound patterns are not random, but actually make melodies, close quote. Footnote 13. Tom Kenyon, quote, theoretical constructs of ABR technology, close quote, www.tomkenyon.com, parentheses, 21 October 2001, close parentheses. Okay, I'm trying to find where I left off. It appears that sound may not only be capable of affecting matter, but might also give matter its shape. The implications of this are astronomical. It appears that we are not only capable of making sound, we are sound. And so is everything else. Now, when a number of tones are played together, we don't hear just one tone, we hear all of them. Together, the tones sound differently than they do when played alone. They produce a different feeling, a different mood, if you will. Of course, I'm talking once again about vibratory effect, the effect that one sort of matter has upon another, and vice versa. I'm talking about mixing certain kinds of matter and energetic force to produce a different kind of mood or perception, to create a different kind of cosmic song, if you will. I'm talking about tuning universal matter with our energy and letting it tune us. It appears, as we'll see in a moment, that ancient peoples used the vibratory effects of specific energies and objects to tune themselves into the frequencies of other realms. They also, as we'll soon see, appear to have been quite capable of investing matter with specific frequencies that would act as a kind of cosmic telephone to call in spiritual forces capable of bestowing grace, harmony, and wisdom. I hope you liked that. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. And join me when I read chapter 14. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for listening. Take care.